What happened when I reported my neighbor's illegal construction? For years, the house next to mine belonged to a quiet older lady. No noise, no problems. After she passed away, it was sold to Jack, who ran a construction company and dabbled in real estate. Instead of moving in, he crammed the house with 4 to 6 foreign construction workers who labored for his business. I don't care where someone's from, but these tenants had 2 unfortunate traits. They were unbelievably loud, and they didn't care about anyone around them. Starting every Thursday evening, their weekend would begin with music that shook the walls, non-stop until 5 a.m. Monday when they left for work. I couldn't watch TV without headphones, and even then, I could still hear their bass through the wall we shared. After the 3rd weekend in a row, I asked politely for them to turn it down. The answer was always, "It's not loud," followed by no change at all. My calls to Jack got me nothing but a dismissive, "Not my problem." Police visits made no difference either. I was trapped in a miserable loop. As a construction lawyer, I knew legal action would lead only to a meaningless piece of paper saying their music was too loud. It wouldn't solve the problem, so I waited. And then one afternoon, I noticed unusual activity. A crane had arrived, and workers were tearing down a small side building that had been added years earlier. The wall from that extension was also our shared garden divider, something both previous owners had agreed to and maintained together. I instantly knew what I was seeing: unpermitted demolition. In my line of work, permits are the oxygen of construction. Without one, you suffocate. I checked the public records. No application had been filed. I took photos and sent a simple report to the municipal office. Within hours, Jack was warned. He claimed ignorance and promised to stop. Days later, new materials arrived. Construction resumed. I reported again. This time, the city reprimanded him sharply, and the workers left. Jack called me, furious, accusing me of ruining his project. I calmly reminded him that building without a permit is illegal, and that ignorance wasn't an excuse, especially for someone in his profession. What Jack didn't realize was that this small nudge had awakened a process he couldn't escape. Permit applications are intentionally complex, and one missing line can kill an entire project. When I reviewed his eventual application, I noticed plans to alter our shared wall. That wall, legally, was half mine. He needed my written permission to do anything with it. He never asked, and I had no intention of granting it. I filed a formal objection. Legally, it should have stopped the permit cold, yet through his connections, it was pushed through anyway. But I wasn't worried. In my country, permits can be appealed. For a small fee, I filed the appeal. Unlike the city, the higher authority has no patience for political strings. They revoked his permit almost instantly on the exact grounds I cited. His project was dead. By now, 7 months had passed. His tenants' belongings sat under a tarp in the yard. The house was half demolished, and no work could move forward. And the worst was yet to come. My original reports had triggered a criminal investigation. Construction without a permit is a criminal offense, and because Jack used his own company for the work, the business itself was also under review. Penalties could include heavy fines, suspension, or even losing his license to operate. Jack tried to sell the property, but who would buy it? It was trashed by the tenants, marked with an illegal demolition, and tied up in court. Developers avoided it. Regular buyers couldn't touch it without first fixing the legal mess. Meanwhile, Jack's reputation with the city was in ruins, so every other project he touched started getting scrutinized. The house sat there as a monument to his arrogance. The noise eventually faded. The workers, no longer shielded by their landlord, toned things down. Jack, however, was stuck with an unsellable property, a stalled business project, and the looming shadow of criminal proceedings, all because he thought permits and neighbors didn't matter. The beauty of it all? I barely had to lift a finger. A few photos, a couple of emails, one well-placed objection, and the bureaucracy did the rest. It was slow, methodical, and relentless. Jack had unleashed chaos on my life with endless noise. I simply pointed the system in his direction and let it devour his plans. Patience wasn't just a virtue, it was my weapon. And in the end, silence returned, not because I shouted louder, but because I knew exactly when to let the rules do the talking.